Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we're taking one of the screens I've just finished designing last night, and we're going to live code this inside my new YouTube app. Let's dive in. Okay guys, so this is the state of the app as of right now on the store. So I launched it a couple of weeks ago, right? This is all it does. You have a simple screen to log in. That also explains what the app does. The main screen where you track your key metrics, subscribers and watch time for your YouTube channel. So that's the core of it. That's what people loved so far. And then a simple screen that says who I am, what I'm doing with this app, and you can just reach out and send me some feedback. And what we're going to add today is, begin to add, because there's a lot of work here, is a simple feature to let people add custom milestones. So you see here, like this is the core goal, like this is the final objective. But for some channels, like mine, for example, it seems very far away to have 4,000 hours of watch time, for example. So what I'm gonna let people do is add custom milestones to like break down the objective in maybe smaller chunks that you can decide what they're gonna be, and add your custom objectives basically. So it's gonna be like this: a simple new tab here, and then a collection view which will list your new milestones that you've decided to add, and then a screen that lets you, maybe it's going to be a view probably on top of that simple screen, where you'll be able to decide, okay, my new target now is 200 hours of watch time over the last 30 days, for example. And you will set this target, it will pop up here, and then we'll grab the API data, and then we'll try and come up with a progress bar here. So that's the feature itself. Now in today's video, we're gonna add the skeleton for that screen, which is this guy here. So new tab, custom navigation bar, and then a button here, or a label, and a banner ad. Let's see where we can get to today in, let's say 25 minutes or something. Let's see. So let's dive into Xcode. There we go. So this is my project. And what I need to do first is add a new tab on our tab controller. So if I show you what the app looks like right now, this is what it does. We have two tabs, that's it, and we're going to add a third one in the middle here. So first thing is going in my tab controller file, which sets the tabs for my app. So we have the home tab here, which is the tracker with both metrics. Then we have the about tab. What we're going to do here is add another tab in between these two. So I'm copy pasting the whole thing, and it's going to be called milestones VC, and that's going to be a milestone controller, which we haven't created yet, so we're going to have to do that. And I'm going to do that just now. All right, so let's have a look. I have a folder here, milestone controller, which is empty, and I'm going to add my milestone controller Swift file, which is going to be, I'll just import this, milestone controller, and it's a subclass of UI view controller. For now, I might switch that to UI collection view controller at some point. Well, let's see. And I'm just gonna set it. I always set some basic code, like just let's try and change the background color to, let's say blue, just to see if it works when I want to add it there. So back here, I haven't changed any of that for now. Let's worry about that later. Let's see if that works. And what I always need to do now that I have created the instance for my controller here, I need to add it inside the tab controller. So here I have all the tabs currently inside my tab controller, and they are set like this. We just map each of these tabs, and then we just insert it in the tab controller. So in between these two, I'm just going to add the milestone VC. And technically, if I run this, we should see the third tab pop, hopefully. let's have a look. Awesome. So we have a third tab. The icon is not the right one, the title is not the right one, but we have our blue background, which is exactly what we needed. So let's worry about changing that so it says exactly what we want it to say. So back here in my milestone VC, the title now needs to be milestones. And then we have an icon for the unselected tab, so when it's gray, and then a selected tab when it's red. For now it's the rocket that I have above, and we need to change that. So I'll just see if I have it in my assets, and I have not, but I have exported it somewhere. So let's go get these files, which are in here somewhere. Yeah, so I got my milestones in red, and then we'll import the ones in gray. Cool. All right, so they're wrongly named, of course. Milestones unselected. Milestones selected. Did I spell this wrong? Yeah, correct. All right, cool. So we have these icons, and I'm just gonna replace these now inside my tab controller. So that's the selected version, and that's the unselected version. All right, let's have a look. Let's see if that worked. Fingers crossed. Yay, cool. So we got our milestones title here, a new icon. If I click on it, it becomes red, exactly what I wanted. Great. So now let's have a look at design and what we need to do next. So we have our navigation bar, which is red, a large title, and an add button. So let's go do that. Back here. So inside my milestones controller, this is where we need to set the navigation bar. So what I'm going to do is create a private function to set up navigation bar. And private. And I'm just going to call it directly here because I always forget to do that. So at least it's done. And then I have already done that code inside of other view controllers before, so I'm just going to grab all that thing and then I'll let you know what it does. So navigation is navigation bar hidden, false, we don't want that. So I always write this just in case I hide it somewhere else in other screens, and then you come back here, then at least we know we need to just show that. Translucent, this is this kind of weird glow that you see on the navigation bar. Sometimes we don't want that. This is setting up the background color. I think I have it twice, but it's two different ones. I'm not sure which one works best, but I always put both. The title needs to be white, that's great. And here we have our icons, so the left and right buttons. In here, I don't need the left one because we only have the add keyword. If you remember from the design, we only have here. And if we compare with what we had there, we had two icons, which is the code I'm reusing here in this case. So back here, let's have a look. So I only need one. It's still white. The function here that's getting called when we call that function is going to change, but that's fine. And we don't need an image actually, because we only have text here. So let me change that to add, and it's still a URL bar button item, but this time I need to use another call, which is the title call. We don't want an image here, we just want a piece of text, so add. The style is still plain, the target is still self, and the selector, we're going to change it. Selector is basically what gets called when you tap on that button. So handle add. So now I can get rid of this. The tint color is white, and then we add it on the right side. That's great. I just need to make sure I have a function here to be called, because if I try to build this now, it's going to give me a crash or an error, I think, because I do not have a function here yet. Yeah, there we go. This is add here, and so we need a function here to handle that call when the button gets tapped. So we need the kind of mini Objective-C tag. I have no idea why I always have to use that. Handle add, and then what we're going to do is just print add button tapped, just to see if that works whenever we call that whole function. So now the warnings errors should be going away, hopefully. It is building. Great. So let's run this to see what it does now. Let's have a look. Cool. So we've got our icon here. The add button is there. If I click on it, I have my add button tapped. The title is wrong because I forgot to change that. So this is called Milestones. Great. And what else is wrong? So we don't have a large title here, which is the iOS 11 large title that we need to set. So let's have a look. I have no idea how to do that actually. So when I don't know, I Stack Overflow. This is how it works. So iOS Swift navigation bar large titles. Let's see. Navigation bar prefers large title true. Great. That's awesome. So we just need to add this. Navigation controller navbar prefers large title true. Does that work? No, we're getting an error. Right, I see. This is because we need to have a fallback in case this is not available. So if you have a phone that's still on iOS 9, of course the OS reacts differently and you cannot display large title like this because that's only for iOS 11. So now it should work. We should at least see big titles. If iOS 11 is not available, your phone is not under iOS 11, then you just fall back to smaller text. Great, it's black. I don't want black, but let's have a look. So navigation controller, I think actually, perfect. So if you need to change the title, blah blah blah, attributes, that's the stuff we want. Cool. So navigation bar, large title text attributes, boom, and we need that thing. And I think the formatting is wrong here, but let's just try and build, and it should give us an error if need be. Let's see what it says. Yeah, I knew it. This is just formatting in the key that we used here. All right, let's run. We'll see if that worked. All right, great, that's awesome. So it did the job. We have our milestones here. The add button is working. We see all these add tab button printed in the console. It's still ugly looking blue, so we're gonna get rid of that. And we kind of need to show, I won't do the banner ad here this time because I need to go check add mob, create a new banner. We can worry about that in another video. What we'll just do is add a label in the middle of the screen when when there's no new milestones, just to not have a blank screen, but show that people can just simply add buttons. So this background needs to be white. And what I'm going to do is create a new function to set up UI. And UI is going to basically add all our UI elements quite simply. So let me do a quick comment. I always try to structure my code a bit better. Here I don't do it very well because I'm recording all these things and I'm trying to be fast. But you should always try and kind of make things look nice when you code it. It just helps you figure out where you are. So private func setup UI, and then what we're going to do here is, so first thing is call this always, because otherwise I'm going to forget. So at least something runs there. And what we're going to do is create a label. So let's, how are we going to name this? Okay, first milestone label. It's type UI label. And okay. So I'm just creating a skeleton for a label. I'm doing everything in code. If you don't know why I'm not using storyboard, just go check the Let's Build That App YouTube channel. This Brian guy is amazing at telling you all about how to build everything in code. I never look back because it's so much simpler, and storyboard is crashing when you have bigger projects, so I like it like this now, which is great. So thanks, Brian, if you're watching this someday. Cool. So label, we need to have it, what's the color we have here? I think I have the color preset for this, text color equal UI color, and I think I have a YouTube gray. Great. Label dot, we have 3 lines, so number of lines 3. Label text. We can hard code the text here because it's not going to change anyway. So the text is going to be all this thing here. Boom. And I'm going to make it force break after all these things so that we know at least it's going to look like this. And to do that, you simply need to add \n in the relevant parts of your string. Maybe it's a hack, but that's how I like to do it. So stuff we also need to do is to add a false here. I'm probably forgetting something, but the font size, UI font dot system, let's see, 20 regular. Okay, so of size 20 regular. Okay, so we have our label. It's not yet in our view. So what we're going to do is in the setup UI, we're going to add a view, which is our first mouse. Oh, first. Okay, and now we're going to add constraints to this. So for constraints, what I'm using, so you don't get confused, is a UI view extension, which is also coming from Let's Build That App, which lets us add constraints directly on our views, and it just saves a lot of time in terms of coding, and also a lot of lines of code. So we're going to do a first. Actually, here I'm going to center it in the middle of the screen, no matter what, and there's only going to be one element, so I actually can do it differently. So I'm going to center X to constraint view dot center X, and then we can set that as an active constraint, and then first milestone label the center Y, so we just center it vertically this time. Constraint view dot center Y, and then is active. I'm going to get rid of that. Yeah, cool. So let me run this, let's see if it's working or not. Let's have a look. Okay, so we're almost there. So we need to center the alignment here. That's something I forgot because now it looks a bit weird. Otherwise, I think we're pretty good. Let's see if we compare with... and it's not bad. I mean, it's very hard to get it completely right when you migrate design to code, but I think it's pretty good. I think I could put it 25 in fonts. Let's see. So let's try 25. This is a lot of trial and error, so don't worry about me just messing up with just random numbers. And the text alignment needs to be center, I think. Let's run it again. I think we'll be good to go with this. Wait for it to load. Alright, let's have a look. Oh yeah, I think this is almost too big, but yeah, it's 222. I think 22 should be fine. Here it's really personal preference, so it doesn't really matter now. I think we've done a good job here, so I'm pretty happy with the beginning of that screen. Cool. I'm gonna have to change that animation. I don't like it. Yeah, got it. Cool. So that's pretty good. I like it. All right. What we can do now is add a button on top of that label, transparent, that also reacts the same way as when you click here. That's kind of a hack, but that's how I do it. Instead of having a button with multi-lines, which I don't think is really nice, I just add transparent buttons. So let's create a lazy var first milestone button of type UI button. Again, we're creating this in code. Button, yeah, UI button. I think I could try and find, why do I have a button in my... That's the good thing about writing everything in code, is that you can go find code you've already built and reuse that. So yeah, that's exactly what I need. Let's use all this. And then we'll just tweak it. The string, there's no string. The background title color we don't need, because it's transparent. Just need to return the button here. Clip to bounds, fine, handle, and that's the same handle basically. And I don't think we need even this. I think this one is super simple. So then let's add this to the view. First milestone button this time. Okay, so we've added the button to our view here, which is great. Next is we need to basically align the button with our label, so that when someone taps on the label, actually taps on the button, and then it just runs the same code. And for that, I'm going to just basically do the same. Center the button here. So I'll do that. Should be fairly simple here. Just going to change this for button and button, and then I'm going to give the button the same frame as the label. So the button height anchor is going to be constrained to a constant of the label's frame dot height, and we're going to set this as active. Always remember to do that, otherwise it won't work. And then we're going to do the same thing but for the width, and technically it should work, I believe. we'll find out. So frame here, width, active. All right, so let's run and see what's going on here. Let's see. Technically now if I click on the label, it should print some stuff in the console as well, if I did it correctly. And I didn't. So what's going on here? Let's have a look at... First, if you want to debug stuff, I'm trying to see if actually the button appears or not. So I'm gonna give it a color, a background color, and hopefully should help us see if actually I see a button or not. Could be that we don't see it at all, which might be another problem. Let's see. Alright, so there's a problem here because our button doesn't show up at all. Let's go back to our screen where it was before. Well, this should work technically. Let's see if I give it an arbitrary. So let's see if I give it, let's say 100 and 100 to see if that does the trick or not. Okay, so now we see it. It's because it's trying to basically set its frame to the labels frame where I believe it's, at the moment it's trying to do it, it's 0 and it doesn't work. So what we'll do instead is I'm going to constrain this not on width and height. Actually, I'll give it a height, but in terms of width, I'm going to constrain it to the entire view here, so that wherever you tap at that location, it should work. That will be considered a hack for many people, but I think it will do the job. So let's do a left anchor constraint to the view.left anchor is active, and then we'll do the same thing on the right anchor constraints view.right anchor, and that's basically going to stick it to the left and right of the screen. It should, at least. Let's see. If it does, then we'll just remove the background color and then we should be good to go. Okay, so now if we click this, we have the Add Tab button, and then if we click that, we have more Add Tab button. That's great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it, you can either use that clear or remove the line entirely. I think it should do the same thing. Let's have a look. Great, it works. So our button is there, nobody can see it, but our button is there. Good stuff. So here we go, guys. We've added a new skeleton for that screen. I think in the next video, what we'll do is, if you look back at the design, we'll either create the collection view or we'll create that pop-up view. I'm not sure yet exactly what's easiest, but we'll figure it out. So that's in the next video. If you've enjoyed this one, give it a thumbs up. It's the first time I'm really doing the kind of real-time coding thing, so of course you'll see mistakes, but I'm trying to make it work. And also it should show you that it's interesting to work out solutions by yourself. So if you don't know how to do something, just Stack Overflow it and you'll find a solution. for most problems. So if you've enjoyed this, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I have tons more content coming up. And all of this is going to end up on the App Store as well, so I'm building something completely real here. It's not just tutorials, it's actual on the App Store. If you search for YouTube Monetization Tracker right now on the store, you'll see the very basic version of the app, which is this guy here. And we're building this together, so I'm building more features for YouTubers, and that's going to be exciting. So yeah, stay tuned, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.